Today I will be responding to The Risks of Homeschooling from Harvard Magazine. So it says, a rapidly increasing number of American families are opting out of sending their children to school, choosing instead to educate them at home. Homeschooled kids now account for roughly 3 to 4% of school-aged children in the United States, a number equivalent to those attending charter schools and larger than the number currently in parochial schools. Yet, Elizabeth Bartholet, Wasserstein Public Interest Professor of Law and Faculty Director of Law School's Child Advocacy Program, sees risk for children and society in homeschooling and recommends a presumptive ban on the practice. Homeschooling, she says, not only violates children's right to a meaningful education and their right to be protected from potential child abuse, but may keep them from contributing positively to a democratic society. All right, first off, I want to counterpoint this with C.S. Lewis. Clive Staples Lewis, the Christian author of the popular Chronicles of Narnia series, he had a tutor that he worked with one-on-one for many years. It allowed him to gain a mastery in Latin, Greek, philosophy, literature, history, theology, logic, mathematics, and arguably it allowed him to advance in his scholarly pursuits. He had a lot of facility with, he understood the classics very well, and he was able to integrate the classics into his philosophy as well as fiction writing. And had he attended a conventional public school, he may have progressed slower, or it may have even been a major impediment to his development as an intellectual. Now, another counterpoint I want to bring up, and that the name is escaping me, but there was a slave who became a philosopher. And that demonstrates that an individual who has the urge to learn, it is Epicetus. He was a Greek Stoic philosopher. He was a slave at Hierapolis in present-day Turkey, lived in Rome until his banishment. So, I guess that the Harvard professor, useful idiots, remember, communism, the Apparatchiks for communism were useful idiots. You really believe that to achieve greatness, you need a Harvard education? Has $70,000 a year for a curriculum that is going to be virtually identical to a state school? I'll give you a little example. So I attend Buffalo State College, and the curriculum for Buffalo State College utilizes the same textbooks as Canisius College. Canisius College is a Jesuit university here in the area. They spend $40,000 a year for their education, and we spend $10,000 a year for education. We share some of the same online courses in terms of utilizing the same professors, and our textbooks come from the same companies, McGraw-Hill, Oxford University Press. And so, yes, do students perhaps receive a little more individualized attention there? Yes, but all in all, if we're completing similar coursework with similar textbooks, with similar quizzes, similar tests, similar assignments, and the materials are developed by the same companies, an argument could be made that the standardization of education may have erased some of the benefits of elite institutions. But all in all, I think it's disgusting that these Harvard professors believe that homeschooling is hurting or an impediment for the growth of a strong and successful society, especially when C.S. Lewis's growth was promulgated from his work with a private tutor, and Epicetus, a humble slave, was able to reach heights of sophistication in his thinking, born merely out of a desire to improve himself, to study hard, and to grow as an individual and to grow as a thinker. I want to finish with a New York Times article, Better Sex Under Socialism. The New York Times And that is one of the most egregious articles that I've seen. So it's entitled Why Women Had Better Sex Under Socialism. An opinion piece from Kristen. I'm not able to see it here. You have to pay for it. But she is a University of Pennsylvania she's a University of Pennsylvania faculty. Now the average salary at that school is $117,000 a year. And for her $117,000 a year, she's romanticizing one woman's very partial, subjective account of her wonderful sex life in the Soviet Union in the 1930s under Stalin. Now, mind you, one element that may have contributed to her wonderful sex life under socialism in 1930s Soviet Union is that she was a young woman. Young people oftentimes have better sex lives than older people that begin to lose their facilities because the production of testosterone and estrogen is no longer top notch with the degradation that age brings. Now, I can admit that life in certain social welfare states like Germany or Sweden or Denmark or Norway or Switzerland could be quite nice, but I don't think a very strong argument can be made that life in Soviet Union's Russia is worth emulating. But again, these Apparatchiks are useful idiots. They get paid $117,000 a year to promote useless and misguided and destructive ideologies. So I'm signing off, and I look forward to your comments.